We're talking golf this morning, and it's a hole-in-one for the South Carolina School for the Deaf and the Blind. What's it all about? You'll find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Millen team of Wells Fargo Home Mortgage on 38th Avenue next to Bilo. We're focused on an upcoming golf tournament to benefit the Coastal Outreach Center for the South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind, and we're visiting with its director, Dr. Dorothy Bambach. Good morning, Dorothy.
Good morning.
Do you mind if I call you Dorothy?
Oh, that's fine.
After grad school, oftentimes, folks, you just want to make sure it's okay if we drop the doctor, at least for 30 minutes.
No problem, Greg.
Thanks so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
It's a great homecoming, or a reunion here after a couple of years ago, the enjoyment of being with you one-on-one, as well as being with you at the Coastal Outreach Center there in Conway.
Well, we appreciate your helping us get the message out. We find that not too many people really know what we do.
Oh, yeah. I believe it. I believe it. It's a good opportunity, of course, and there's so many other great community affairs shows like River Talk or Southern Style to be able to get in with them, and, of course, to promote this golf tournament, which is is it the third or second annual?
It's the third already.
That's amazing.
I know.
When we were promoting it a couple of years ago, of course, it was the first annual.
Yes, it was a bit of the unknown to us at our agency, but people here at the Grand Strand have been so generous to us.
Right.
It's a pleasure. It really is.
You've got a tremendous number of folks that have been involved each year of the last 2 years, and this year again back at Eagle Nest Golf Club.
Oh, sure. And you know, my co-chair in this event is attorney Angela Elliott.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And that's an interesting story. Angela came to our center to learn sign language because in her practice of law, she thought it would be a good idea if she knew some basic signs to help the deaf community. And that's how we started this partnership of having the tournament at the Eagle Nest. So she's right there all the time, pitching in, getting donations with us, and working that day. Absolutely.
And I saw on the list of sponsors that Elliott Realty is also a sponsor of y'all's, and I know Eagle Nest Golf Club has an involvement with them. So the Elliott family's really stepped out to support the Coastal Outreach Center.
They're right there working hand in hand with us, and they enjoy it very much too.
I bet.
We've had another great sponsor this year, Sam's Club Foundation. Right here in the Strand. Yes, they've been very generous with us, as well as Martin's, the pro shop here.
Sure.
They have gotten into a nice sponsorship with us, and every golfer will receive a $20 gift certificate. Isn't that wonderful?
Right? You're kidding. Every golfer, anyone who plays will get a $20.
You don't even have to win. And you get a $20 gift certificate.
Yeah. That is wonderful. I think I saw the Lions Club also Lions Clubs.
You know, this is right down the mission of the Lions International is to promote projects that assist people who are deaf or blind in their hometown communities. So we have several local Lions clubs that have given us sponsorships. So we're pleased about that. And in fact, my own North Myrtle Beach Lions Club will be preparing luncheon that day at the golf tournament.
That's wonderful. Well, I know that you've got so many sponsors, it's tough to highlight any of them without mentioning all of them. I see even now, a couple of weeks before the event, you've already got a ton of $100 hole sponsors, and I guess there's even some sponsorships left?
Oh, yes. Oh, sure. Good. We'd like to have 25. So
good.
We've got a few more opportunities to have a nice sign placed by the hole or on the premises.
Right.
To pay tribute to our major community sponsors.
Okay, and then you've also got, of course, still some foursomes available.
Oh, yes. That's really what we're looking for now. Once again, it's June 16th. It's a Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. Shotgun start out there in beautiful Little River.
Oh, yeah.
So we do have openings, and would just love to have people come out and learn a little bit more about what we do and enjoy a very nice day. We've been lucky with the weather for the last 2 years.
Yes, the last 2 years, sure.
So there's no reason to think that we wouldn't be blessed that day, too.
Absolutely. I'm sure it'll be a beautiful day, no matter what. Even the fact that y'all are having it out there opens the doors for what'll be a great day.
I hope so.
If a viewer needs to get off to work now or get family off to school, is there a good phone number to call to learn more about the tournament, or of course to sign up for a foursome?
Oh, sure. Just call our center here. We're at 212 Main Street in Conway.
Okay.
And our number there is, of course, 843 248-8100.
And that's the best number to call, 248-8100.
Yes,
okay.
sir. That's
Easy
it.
to remember.
And it's got an answering machine on. If I'm in or out that morning or afternoon, I'll call right back and answer any questions.
And everyone in the office is familiar with the golf tournament or how to?
Oh, sure.
Okay, good.
Oh, sure. We're very busy, you know, taking care of things, getting our booklet ready, our program booklet, and picking up gifts. We've had over 50 gifts donated also.
50?
Yes.
Already?
Already.
Wow.
You know, we have 17 golf courses have donated foursomes for us already, and the major venues, you know, Alabama Theater, et cetera, have given us tickets.
Well,
Everybody just wants to get in and support us. It's just a pleasure.
That is wonderful. Here today on the 25th, right at 3 weeks and a day away, to know that you're getting that much support already. It's fantastic.
Yes, we started in January this year, a little early.
Good.
But the time does go by quickly.
Are there other groups in the area, Dorothy, that are doing work hand in hand, like the Coastal Outreach Center for the South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind, that work with the deaf and blind in a similar level that you all do?
Well, the Commission for the Blind has an office right downtown Conway, too, and their services are different than ours, yet complementary. Good. So that's a good thing. They're more in helping people who are blind become employed, go into the homes and help them orient to their home. That's one. Vocational rehabilitation takes care of the employment part of helping people who are deaf to find gainful employment and to get the training that they need to get that employment. So those two agencies. Of course, there's speech and hearing centers around where speech therapy is offered. Yes. Et cetera, et cetera. But one thing that we've started and we're having such fun with is teaching sign language. Yes, that's right. Of course, how Angela came in contact with you all, that's been going on for quite a while. Now, we've taught American Sign Language 1 and 2, and we added a new kind of a class last year, Greg. I have to tell you about it. It's called Tiny Fingers. Tiny Fingers. And it's teaching sign language to parents and families and toddlers about 2 years old who have normal hearing, because now research shows that this early use of signs will help the baby to learn language sooner. No. And I have a wonderful true story that just happened. Yeah. You know, we don't teach all the signs. We teach like milk or hat or baby, and bathroom is one of them. Right. So the grandma who was taking the class and her daughter were both taking it, and they were learning the signs and using it with the little 15-month-old baby. No. And one of the signs was bathroom. Yeah. Now the little one can't speak the word bathroom yet because they're not physically capable of producing that speech that soon, but they knew the symbol for bathroom and what it meant. So when the little one was trying to get toilet trained or whatever, the mom had taught the baby this. So as soon as the baby went like that, the parents escorted the child to the bathroom and is getting trained very early. That is fantastic. So that is a real success story. So it's fun. It's only 6 weeks. We'll be starting it again in September. Okay, good. They're right here at the center at the same telephone number that I mentioned. And again, that's 248-8100. 8100. Very easy number to remember. And y'all also are associated, the website that y'all have is associated with, but they could call the office and get that website address. It's a biggie, and of course it's associated with your main campus. I guess it's in Spartanburg. Spartanburg. Okay. Yes, in fact, this Sunday we're taking a field trip out to Spartanburg. Some of my people, my students in the ASL, American Sign Language 1 class, were so excited about signing that they wanted to go out and see the campus. So we're renting a van and taking them out for a tour, and it's field day for the deaf and the blind students there. So they're going to play with the students and get to apply some of their sign language skills that they learned here in Conway. That is wonderful. Now, you just did Conway. Oh, I spelled it, yes, Conway. See, not all of the towns have name signs. Columbia has a name sign, and that's the same sign for cotton. Columbia. Columbia is the same sign for cotton. That would be the sign for cotton, yes. Right, so if you said, I'm going to Columbia, someone could mistake that for, I'm going out to pick cotton. Well, it would be in the context of the sentence. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, that's right, that's right. Sometimes contextually it could be dangerous, but at the same time. But yeah, so you could use the two signs in the same sentence, I guess. I'm going to Columbia to pick cotton, that's right. Right. So, but, for example, South Carolina would do an SC. And I brought this along for you. This is the little manual alphabet. And that is something that folks could pick up if they came to your office? Oh, You've got copies there? And on the back we have the information on all our outreach centers. You see, we're not unique at all. The South Carolina School for the Deaf and the Blind actually has 6 outreach centers across the state of South Carolina.
Okay.
They're located in Columbia, Rock Hill, Charleston, here, Conway, and Florence. We have a little satellite office in Florence that we're in charge of also.
And that is, so you travel to Florence every once in a while?
Once in a while, every once in a while. Good. We offer pretty much the same services in our Florence office as we do in Columbia and Conway here.
Well, that is wonderful. I have just a basic sign, albeit it's probably not formal, which is one I do with my daughter and even did with her over and over this morning, which was just this, but I'm sure there's nothing. It's just a signing.
I love you.
That's right. I need to.
I love.
Yes.
And then this is the international sign. That's an I in finger spelling, the same as on the card. I, L, and Y, and put it together, and it's I love you.
I love it.
Nowadays, we'll see many of the presidential candidates doing this, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
You see that in places where you wouldn't expect it.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Because everybody wants to sign or say I love you, and people think that they're outreaching to the whole world.
Folks who are deaf are definitely voters as well.
That's
a very good point. I hadn't thought about that. And you think presidential candidates are actually thinking about that?
Well, you'll notice sometimes if you see blurbs of any politicians, some of them will have a sign language interpreter, close by them.
Right.
And this is another way of showing that they want to be open to diversity in the community.
That's a great thing for political consultants to hear and think about passing on to their clients.
Oh, certainly.
Who could really take advantage of that and be connecting with folks, whether they knew it or not.
Sure, and that's one of the services we have right here in Conway. We have a certified sign language interpreter who is available for contracting out to hospitals, banks right here. If a deaf person was coming in for a loan, for example, they would need to have a sign language interpreter provided by the business under the law to make that service accessible to the deaf consumer.
I saw a fascinating story in last week's Herald, which of course left the newsstands yesterday when the new issue came out, but about some 20 monitors that have been purchased at Grand Strand Regional Medical Center recently. Only the second hospital in the state, I believe. The other one may have been in Aiken, I think, that are using these monitors. Are you familiar with that, Dorothy? You know what they're for?
Yes, I believe you're speaking about video remote interpreting.
That's correct, 24/7. So
what it is at a distant location, Chicago or Pittsburgh, the agency has a group of interpreters on call.
All the time.
So let's say a deaf person's in an auto accident, and they come to the Grand Strand Hospital. Well, it's difficult sometimes to get one interpreter in the area.
At 3 a.m.
Exactly. So they plug into this bank, and the video player or whatever is bedside or in the major areas.
Sure.
Now, I noticed also in the press release that the hospital said this will be used in conjunction with our sign language contracted services,
and it's very clear that it is in conjunction with y'all.
Yes, because it wouldn't be the end-all and be-all. I mean, just imagine if you were flat on your back. It's potentially difficult to get a hospital or to get a monitor in such an angle that you could understand it.
Right.
So there would be other circumstances and times when a real person, it would be a better mix for that specific situation. But I commend hospitals, any hospital, to do anything they can to make their services accessible to a patient in need who is deaf is fantastic.
Absolutely. I was impressed. I couldn't tell, and Steve Porter wrote the story, I couldn't tell if those were mobile monitors, or it gave the impression in the story that it would enable only wheeling patients over to 20 central bank locations, essentially, as you say, for patients who are on a bed in an emergency room. They surely, I think, primary is contacting y'all, the South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind.
And you think of our area too, because it's such a tourist place. It could be deaf people traveling through and have a car accident or become ill. So it's very critical. I look forward to going over to the hospital and seeing that in action. It's rather new. And the other thing that would be a consideration, there are regional signs. For example, I moved here from Pennsylvania, obviously, from my my voice. I'm working on my Southernese.
Come on, give it to us,
so some of my signs, when I sign with the deaf community, they might pick up and they might say, what's that sign? Oh, I guess it's my Pennsylvania sign. And then that's a teaching moment for me, because then the deaf community would show me the way the sign is used here in South Carolina. But in generally, we understand each other, just as you and I understand each other.
Right.
But once in a while, you might have to say, oh, that sounds a little different. Well, it'll be the same thing in a sign. Oh, that signed a little different, but it's really the same thing.
That is fascinating. Well, I called somebody this morning to ask them to come out and see you if they were anywhere close by. Someone who I need to find out more about their ability to sign as well, because I think it's, and surely the opportunity, that toddler idea is brilliant. Is that something that's been enacted all over the state or all over the country, or principally?
It's pretty new. It's pretty new on the scene, and I commend the school in Spartanburg and Kathy Steer for starting the program. They started it at the school on campus for the first year, pilot year, and they saw how good it was working.
Yeah.
So then, I heard about it, and I thought, that's something we could start here in Conway.
Yes, yes.
And it's just been such fun to do it, and we have the toys.
And are you teaching the class,
yeah,
Dorothy? That's great. You teach all the classes, is that right?
So far, but
yeah.
we are always looking for appropriate qualified candidates, so to even enlarge what we're offering. Yeah, we have a beautiful center now that we moved to about a year and a half ago.
Yes,
so we have plenty
in Conway, right on Main Street.
Yes.
That is wonderful. Is it when you're coming into Conway and cross over the bridge?
Yes,
it's very easy to find
that pretty
on the
bridge
right.
with the lamps. You come over right
beautiful.
at the bottom on the right across from Chamber of Commerce. We're at a wonderful location.
We were at the Waccamaw, or the Bluegrass on the Waccamaw, an event recently over in Conway at the Peanut Warehouse, and of course, traveling over that bridge, it is so beautiful.
Oh, it is.
Conway is a special place.
It is. Christmas, they have the nice little wreaths around it.
Yes. Do you encourage folks to come by the office to pop in and see you all?
Oh, yes, and
Great.
small field trips. For example, 2 weeks ago, we had the students from North Myrtle Beach Christian Academy came, and we did an in-service training for them right on the site.
Great.
We have a gal there that's an orientation and mobility specialist.
Okay.
And what she does is she will go into the classrooms in Horry County schools where blind students are, and she takes them out of class, and she teaches them how to walk with a white cane.
Oh, look at that.
And this is what I brought along to show you. This is a white cane, and obviously it almost looks like a baton that a child would play with, but it's far more than a toy for a little one who is blind. So canes are supposed to go up chest length. So perhaps a 5-year-old who is blind would use this cane. And our orientation mobility specialist, Carol Cooper, would take the child out of class and show them how to walk appropriately with this cane to know how to be independent in his or her environment, and that's what the whole point is. So Carol did some in-service training with me, with the youngsters from North Myrtle Beach Christian Academy, to help them understand, sometimes kids can be cruel without realizing, and just think about what, comments some unknowing students who are sighted might say, and that's very important for kids to grow up with the right information.
Absolutely.
So we do welcome visitors to the center, and we have a whole variety of equipment to demonstrate.
Oh yes, boy, I'm glad you brought that. Of course, we had many of these aids, many of these pieces of equipment. I'm sure viewers can't see that directly, but if they can see, there are some items there, and if they'd like to come in and come by your office to pick up one of these great pamphlets to show what, as well as to see the equipment live time. I mean, if they can't stay around to look through all the items there.
Yes, and what it is, we are an oversight agency of South Carolina Telecommunications Distribution.
Right.
We all are surcharged on our telephone bills a few cents every month. And from that money, all these telecommunications devices are purchased and kept in Spartanburg, in Columbia at our center there. And we have these applications, and it's part of my job to help get the word out about this program, so that if you are having any kind of difficulty using the telephone, there is a piece of equipment that could probably help you to have access. And that's what we want to get out to the community at large about this. And that brochure has some pictures. For example, if you are deaf and have a vision impairment, there's telephone apparatus with large numbers so to help you see.
Yes. And
amplified telephones, and then of course the telecommunications where you type your message, and the typed message gets sent across to the other person's home or through a relay. Perhaps you and your businesses have gotten relay calls. In South Carolina Relay, where a person would dial 711 to be passed through a relay operator to be able to speak to a person using a TTY.
And that is what 711 would enable?
Yes, the first 3 numbers.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Dorothy, we got about 5 minutes. There's so many more things we'd like to go over. And of course, want to highlight, we really want to drive as much traffic as possible to the golf tournament. Obviously, dialing you said 248-8100 number. to find out about foursomes that are available. When will y'all cut off the foursomes? I mean, when will you cut off registration?
Probably would like to know by the week before.
Okay, so
But if somebody shows up that morning, Greg, we're not going to turn them away.
as long as you haven't sold out, sure.
Right.
I know in the past y'all have gotten very close, if not selling out the
We had
event.
90 golfers participate last year, so
Okay,
it was just
great.
a nice amount,
Sure.
to be comfortable at
You
the
can
course.
take up to how many folks?
Well, 125.
Okay, good, sure.
So
sure.
we've got ways to go and 3 weeks left to do it, so we would appreciate golfers coming out and supporting us. out in
Absolutely, and the
Little River,
foursomes are very reasonably priced.
$50 or $200.
$200, $50 a person. And of
Yes.
course, the opportunity to get out there, as you said, and even if someone can't muster up 3 friends, you will accept singles and
Pair them together.
pair them up.
And last year we had 2 foursomes of deaf people.
Is that right? Great.
Deaf people from Columbia, especially, there's a group there, a deaf club, that enjoy golfing, so they supported us and came out.
You had a guy who was in from Columbia. I think it was Scott.
Scott Falcone, yes.
Scott Falcone, exactly, was one of our guests for the week we
You're
filmed.
right,
I remember.
you're right. Yes,
I
he
remember-
does what I do in Columbia.
Is that right? I remember you said Kathy Stair, and remember Kathy was a wonderful woman, and loved some of those guests we had on that week when we filmed at the center, and I hope we can come back sometime in the next couple of months to film at your new location, which probably has a little more space.
I'll be very, very, very comfortable.
Better set up in there.
I would welcome you whenever you could make it. It's very good and we appreciate your helping the community know about us.
Absolutely. Dorothy, you've been working with the deaf, and I guess indirectly with the blind, for quite a few years. Not to date you, that's right. But
37.
Is that right? Wow.
Yes, I was a teacher of deaf kids at a school for the deaf in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania.
Had some other jobs there too, so
Yeah.
I really enjoy working with people who are deaf and enjoy seeing all they can do with their lives. I mean, I know deaf lawyers, deaf school superintendents, there's a deaf physician, and just seeing over the 30 years of my career to see just how many doors have been opened.
Right.
And it's wonderful, it really is.
And of course, your focus now is not only on the deaf, but also on the
People
blind.
are blind.
And,
Our
visually impaired.
Conway Federation of the Blind meets at our center
Great.
on a monthly basis.
Great.
And we're also working to prepare our communities for hurricane. I have wonderful cooperation from our emergency management and the Red Cross. And we've done trainings with our communities, helped them to understand the needs of deaf and blind people, and helped our deaf and blind consumers to know how to access assistance during time of evacuation.
That is wonderful.
So that's another one of the things that we've been spending a good amount of time on, is now that June 1st is rapidly approaching.
Right, it sure is.
It's around the corner.
Right around the corner. That's exactly right. You know, if you wanted to drive home the most, for folks to get out, and what should really drive people to get out and support this year's third annual event, Dorothy? Are some of the dollars are being used? Obviously, last year it was used for
the canes.
the canes.
We bought the canes, and these are provided free on a loaner basis to any young blind students in Horry County and larger than Horry County who are receiving our orientational ability services.
Okay.
That's one thing. We have sign language materials in our resource center for people to come in and refer.
Right.
We have video equipment to be able to use to improve the skills of our interpreters, and in our sign language program. We provided CPR training recently for
right.
members of the deaf community with our certified sign language interpreter there. So it's all about access, and that's what we want to do. We don't want to duplicate any other services, but we want to make sure that there are no gaps in services, and that's what our funds are used to do with our golf tournament.
That's wonderful. Those are great words. Dorothy, thanks so much for being with us
you're
this morning. I'm
welcome.
sorry we've run out of time. We'll get you back soon.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Dr. Dorothy Bambach coming up next. The date is Saturday, June 16th. The place is Eagle Nest Golf Club, third annual benefit golf tournament to benefit the South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind's Outreach Center in Conway, our area outreach center. You can take the time to pick up the phone. It's real easy. Write this number down, 248-8100, 248-8100. You heard Dorothy say it. If you picked up the phone right now at 7:30 and left a message, someone may not be there, but you can leave a message. They'll call you back. There's still some foursomes available. If you can't get a foursome together, you can still call that number, sign up by yourself. It's $50 a person. There'll be a tremendous lunch provided. Shotgun starts at 9 a.m. It's Captain's Choice. Very easy. If you're not a golfer, you can still be involved. You can pick up the phone and dial 248-8100 and say, I want to come by your office. I want to visit the outreach center. I want to make a donation. Give me your address. You can pick up the phone, 248-8100. It's a critical cause. There's people all around you who may be hearing impaired, who may be visually impaired, and you may not even know it, because they're working to maintain a life in society just like everyone else. Take the time to learn about all the activities going on at the South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind's local outreach center, either here or in Conway. Pick up the phone, 248-8100.